Hello, this is Talion Trevere here with another art stream. So we're just kind of picking up on the same piece that we were doing last time, although I did make some tweaks. I think probably the most noticeable thing is that I added some patterns on the teacup and teapot. One second. Let me move some stuff out of cat reach because she has, of course, immediately decided to crash the stream. Hi, kitty. Yeah, and then just some other random little things. I added the radiance on my hair and some, yes, Kitty also says hi. Yeah, some more detail in the tees. So now we are going to start the shading. I did keep my promise, sort of not actually starting the shading, but I did. She's in the tea. Oh yeah, the tees. Um, I did pull out the shading layers from my rough color version and tweak those a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm not going to actually be using these. I'm going to be redrawing them more nicely. But this is more or less the vibe that I'm going for, at least for the first shading pass. One second. Getting headphones out of Catway because she's also trying to play with those. You're going to be a problem today, huh? You just love distracting me. Just need all the attention all the time. Talion's paying attention to something else that's not me. I must fix this immediately, is what Kitty is saying. She's very cute, though. All right. So let's put all this away. Yeah, like I was saying, that's kind of the first pass at shadows. There will probably be kind of multiple. And I think the first thing that I'm going to do, so this was the color that I was using for that shading. Yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is just go through some of my layers and add this color in the multiply mode. So I guess for anyone, Greg, I'm pretty sure is kind of new to digital art at least. So there are different kinds of layer modes. So for instance, I can create a new layer. Okay, before I do all that, let me turn off some of this random stuff. I'm kind of like how I was going with the colors. I'm going to be going kind of from the background, one layer at a time, basically. I did split the cat into body and tail for animation purposes, but I don't know if that'll work. I might undo that later. So let's just go with the base kind of area here. So I get this new layer, just call it like wall shading. And I can, well, I don't really need to do anything to it right now, but I can, for instance, put this color in there. I'm just going to grab a rectangular area because this is more or less rectangular. That's not quite right. That's also not quite right. I guess it's just that my line isn't entirely straight. But yeah, we can grab a rectangular area of sorts and just kind of fill it in with this color. And it's going to look like that. But what I can then do, actually, I want this. Yeah. Okay. What I can then do is change the blending mode. So multiply is kind of commonly used for shading. And basically what this does is, for instance, if I put it here, you can see that it's not just a solid color. It affects the layers underneath it in different ways. So I can basically just use that for a bunch of things. So now this wall is like slightly darker than the other one. And so for this, I was thinking that the light could be coming, put the other stuff back in for a sec. Just everything's just kind of floating now. Um, from like maybe like a window farther down on this wall or something. So it'll be coming kind of from the front left, like this. So with that in mind, she's even more haunted now. Yeah, everything's very haunted. Um, I think I'm gonna make this side a little bit lighter. Just go in there with like a big ol' airbrush and erase a little bit of the shading. Maybe like that. Or is that too much? I also made myself a border layer so I can cut off the sides as I need to. I think that's a little too much. There we go. And I'm actually gonna copy paste this and then make it extend down to this as well and just clip that to this layer. So now it's just affecting that bottom strip over there. Of course, go in and clean that up so it stays on its proper side. And there we go. We have wall shading. Do we want any shading on the floor? I think the floor is fine for now. There is this cabinet here that's probably going to cast a shadow on it, but I think for the time being, we're good. Let's see. I put in the counter next. Okay. So again, I clip a layer with that, put it on multiply. And let's see. I should probably oops. Oh, I forgot. So the counter is actually in two parts and they need to be separate. So let's just, oops. Magic wand. No. Connected pixels only. Thank you. Area scaling. Those. So this is a nice thing where sometimes if you select something with the magic wand tool, it might leave some pixels out at the very border and end up with a weird kind of edge around it. So that's what area scaling is nice for, because that goes like into the line art and it'll be kind of hidden under there. So yeah, let's do that. Or actually, you know what? I'm just gonna put a layer mask on there so I don't have to keep that selection around. Sorry, it's just the line is not coming out the way I want it to look. Okay. This will go up a little bit like that. Do that here too. I'll just put it on 40. Hmm. I don't know. I still feel like this shadow doesn't look quite right. Hmm. All right, I think I'll leave that for now. And then I'll put another one. I think what I should probably do is just like keep copy pasting layers so that they keep the multiply and the opacity, and I don't have to set that every time. Then for this, let's see. Maybe I don't need a shading layer on this table. It should probably have like a highlight towards this edge, but what if I just shade? Is that not working? Oh, I'm accidentally drawing on the mask and not the actual layer. I need something softer. I guess like that. I could maybe even just like try to take my big airbrush and put in some shading like that. That's not too bad. I think maybe that'll do. All right. Shelves. Yeah, copy and paste my layer there, except I don't need this mask for this one. Let's see. Mouse go. The heck? All right, so if the light is coming from like this direction, the shelves would probably cast shadows on the stuff on below them. The jars, I mean, thinking of the shadows cast by a jar is pretty complicated. But at least the tea inside would possibly cast shadows. Let's see, I guess what's going on? Why is this not working again? Oh, because I'm using the weird. Okay, what is going on? Oh, no, I keep messing this up. Okay, here we go. Now that's working. All right. So I don't know, maybe a shadow in there like that. And then clean up that edge there. If that makes sense. Shadows are hard. And I don't paint like backgrounds and objects very often. Mm, doesn't seem quite right. Yeah, I don't like that. In my rough draft, I did it like this, but that doesn't really seem right either. Hmm. I generally feel like the corners should be darker because it's harder for light to get in there. If the light is coming from this direction, it's possible this entire side would be in shadow. That maybe makes some more sense. Maybe. Why is lighting so hard? You know what? I think I'm gonna leave this one for now. And wait, why is okay. Let's move on to something easier for a second. Let's just leave the shelves. Cabinet. Um, Honestly, I think the first thing I want to do is actually just put the entire inside of this in shadow. I keep forgetting about let's copy paste that multiplier layer again. Why is this lagging so much? And honestly, I think I might just do another pass to darken the tops of these and the sides. So kind of like that, I guess. I don't know if that should be done in the same multiply style though. I guess that works. And then definitely want to shade the underside here. Actually, even this entire leg. And actually, since we're doing it in 2 layers, maybe I can darken this up even more. Is that right? Oh my gosh. Keep trying to paint in the wrong place. Um, that maybe doesn't quite seem right, but it's what I'm going with for now. And then we also have to think about the shadow that this cabinet casts. Oops. I guess just take a multiply layer and duplicate it again. So let's see. Like that. Wait, what the heck? Oh, okay. Okay. This is going to get a little bit complicated because of how I have my layers set up. Okay, so this has to go outside of the folder because otherwise it can't affect things that are outside the folder. I'm going to start with that and then see what I can do with that. Ugh, why shadow so hard? Just like trying to visualize how the light would go. I don't like this. All right, you know what? Let's leave that for later too. All right, kitty. This is going to be a little bit tricky because I split the cat up into the body and tail. So I might have to, whoops. I might have to split the shading up the same way. That is too much shading. Maybe? Okay, maybe like that. I think maybe that'll do for Kitty for now. Um, okay, I want to go back to these jars because that's really bothering me. All right. Okay, trying to think about this. Which parts of the shelf does the light hit or not? Like, I'm just more used to drawing characters than like objects, and having something like a shelf is just a shape that I'm very unaccustomed to having to shade. I think maybe I'll fill in the back of the shelves. And then maybe like that. I'm gonna try that for all of them. Hmm. I don't think that's right either. I think this side should probably be in shadow. Hmm. No, maybe the previous option was better. I'm gonna try to go with this one. Put a bit of extra shading there. And then, no, let's get an eraser. And then I'm going to try with this. Okay, first of all, let's make these nice and even. And then with the, kind of fade that out more nicely. Oops. I don't want it to be entirely a non-existent edge, but just a soft edge. I probably should have cleaned up those edges after I did all this, because I'm going to probably have to do it again. That'll probably do the trick. Okay. Now let's go in with the eraser again. I probably should have just put some kind of mask on this to keep it to the right places, but it's fine. All right. I think that, yeah, that looks surprisingly nice. Then let's go in the tea a little bit. Or sorry, tea color. Is the jar going to be affected? Yes, the jars are going to be interesting to shade on account of them being jars. I actually quite like shading jars. Let's put some, just a little bit. So jars mostly have a lot of reflection and a lot of reflected light. I'm not gonna, well, yeah, it's just, they're mostly highlights, but I'll put a little bit of shading on them as well. So I have a little bit of jar shine over here that I'm gonna redo hopefully more nicely. And other such things. Then there's also the matter of how the jars like reflect light onto other surfaces, but I'm not going to bother too much with that. I do probably want to add some shading around the jars though. Where was so many layers, geez. I'm just going to copy paste another shading layer there. Just put a little bit of jar shading. Like the shadow, I think, mostly comes from the tea, not from the jar itself. So the jar mostly lets light through. And because of that, I think what I'm actually going to do is erase a lot of the shadow, so that the part that's like right near the jar actually doesn't have shading because of the jar. You can put a highlight in there when we get to it. Okay, jars I think are maybe good. Except now this doesn't look like enough. Let's spread this a little bit. Let's take the softer one again. Oops, no. No, I'll stick with what I was doing. There we go. A little bit of jar shading there. Okay, I do want to go back to that cabinet and like make that cast a shadow too. Oof, why is this so complicated? All right, let's see if I can come up with something good here. Maybe you should just go all the way. But then where to go from there? Maybe actually. Uh, should honestly probably fade out. Oh, what am I doing? Oh my gosh. I did not mean to do that. I meant to go with the transparent. Because like at this distance, to get like a hard shadow like that, it would have to be some pretty intense light. And I want to do kind of soft light here. So the shadows are hard near the object, but at this distance from the object, they should be soft. So like here, well, so that kind of helps. But then I still have the question of where to go from here. I guess just kind of like how I had it before. Hello. I'm trying to figure out lighting and shadows, and it's very hard. So yeah, like the shadow should be crisper near the actual object, but then, oops, fade out as you get further away from it. I don't know. This is not really going how I want it to. Yep, black magic. That's actually not looking so bad. I kind of like that. And now there's just this edge. I'm not entirely sure what to do with. I guess I could just fade that out too. Maybe. I feel like that's too much though. We lost a little bit too much of this. I don't know about that. You know, I think that's as good as it's going to get for now. I can revisit it later. But now let's actually maybe adjust some of the other stuff I had going here. So there's that. There's that. kind of feel like this part should be more in shadow. Should I just put all of it in shadow? No, that's too much. Just spread it out like that. It'll do for now. Do I want to shade this top edge at all? Uh, well, of course I need to put shadow of the cat. Oh, I'm using the transparent one. Okay. Okay. I think that's decent for cat shadow. Um, okay. Cat shadow, there we go. Okay, is background shading done? I'm not sure if I like this edge here, especially since I softened up so many of the edges in the other places. But on the other hand, Voidling cats absorb light. Um, yeah, well, that's why she's casting shadows all over the place. So I don't want to go too soft with all the shadows because then everything just ends up looking really washed out and weird. But I kind of want to try messing around with this. Maybe even just like softening up the inside. Am I on the wrong? I'm on the wrong layer as always. Whoops. No, I don't really like that. So like in this case, the edge of the shadow is quite close to the object, so it should be relatively sharp. I think it's just too much shadow. Let me try redrawing that again. I know when I first put this in, I redrew it like 10 times, but let's try some more. Okay, that's better, I think. All right, I think that will do. Cool, cool. I think we're done shading the background. Let's shade me, I guess. Okay, so the ponytail is a little bit tricky because it is. Wait, what is? Oh, right. My skin color isn't on the body. In the body folder, not the head folder. So it's a little bit separate. My skin color just goes away when I do that. Right. So the ponytail is on a separate layer for potential animating purposes. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. But let's see what we can do. I don't like that. That's actually better. It's a little bit annoying because I ended up with just so little detail in this ponytail. But I mean, there will probably be other iterations of shading that I can add more detail in. But for now, I'm actually going to go in and lighten up some of this shading here. Oops. Hello. I'm struggling a little bit, but I think it's going to end up looking pretty good. I don't know if this is at all fun to stream because I'm very slow at this. I apologize. But you know, hopefully we can have a good time here. Yeah, I mean, if it could be a learning experience, then that's great. All right, I think that's good for the ponytail, maybe. Maybe I can. Just a little bit more oomph. Maybe like that. Can't rush perfection. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay. That's, I think, good enough for now. Or, okay. No, wait. Ah! All right. Now, while I'm on the hair, let's do the other hair. This one should be simpler. Basically just, oh man, my tool is just like lagging. Just something like that, maybe. Actually, let me take the front hair out of the picture just to make sure. And you know what? I can take this one and erase a little bit to lighten that up. Too much. And there we go. Yeah. Okay, cool, cool. The front hair, I don't know if we really need anything on that. It already has like a little bit of an indication of shading just from the gradients. Do we want anything on that? Let's come back to that. All right. Skin shading. I can actually put in a little bit of that ear there. Let's see now, how much of the face do I want shaded? Probably not a whole lot, because I'm pretty much looking towards the light source. So it's only kind of on the edge that I want to have shading. What's going on? Oh, on the wrong brush again. Either the wrong layer or the wrong brush every time. But yeah, I think this is about right. And then I can also take the soft brush again and do a little bit of kind of reflected light there. That's too much. Actually, when I'm doing this, I should turn off these so I can see underneath. There we go. Yeah, okay. I do, in fact, want this to look nice without that. Maybe like that. Actually, could even match up with the edge of the hair shading. There we go. And now here, cat has returned again. Oops, too much. Cat is sticking her tail in my face. I don't think you're really going to be able to see this like at all, but you know what? It works for me. Do I want to make that edge softer? Because I've been going for kind of soft edges on other stuff as well. But I also, that's a dangerous thing to get carried away with. Let's try just a little bit. I don't really like that. Let's go hard edge for now. Oops. Okay, it kind of annoys me that the color of the shaded skin is so close to the color of the jacket. That's going to get obnoxious. But I guess hopefully maybe we can add some shading to the coat and then make that look a slightly different color. All right. I feel like this should be partially softened, like in some areas maybe. Just like here. Maybe? Does that look okay? I just, yeah, that's pretty nice. That'll do. All right, I think let's get shading on that coat. Ah, wrong brush again. Hang on. I'm gonna fix this little edge here. Like that. That maybe. I am significantly more confident when it comes to shading people and clothes and stuff than like shelves and background objects. Still takes a while though. Oops, I meant to do that with the eraser. So I like to do something with shadows where like I'll keep one part of it more of a sharp edge and then soften up another part of it. Usually like so right in this crease, it'll be more sharp and then kind of fade out as the fabric smooths out. That's maybe too much though. I like that. I feel like this elbow here needs some more shading of some kind. That part still looks kind of flat. Also, I almost forgot to put something on these fingers here. Wrong brush again. There we go. I should actually name these layers. And then if I copy paste a named layer, the name will also be transferred. Okay, let's see. Like that, maybe? Maybe just more around this elbow. Or maybe here. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. And then finally, I definitely need to put in a head shadow. You can't really see my lines over this, but I'm probably gonna actually recolor the lines later too. so it's not going to be a problem. Hmm. I think I'll also put in a little extra in there. No, I don't like that. All right, I think that's maybe it for that. And then while we're here, let's get that signboard in there. God, fishing for ghosts. Okay, first of all, in here, definitely needs to be filled in. This is all the way in shadow. Do I want to put a little bit of, maybe a little bit of shadow around the edges? Maybe. Maybe also a little bit of that big airbrush shadow. Oh boy. All right, is that good? Maybe. I don't really like that actually. Okay, the frame. Put this. Probably these. Honestly, I think this as well. Oops. Yeah, I think that looks pretty decent. So when I do this, you can see the gaps in this board color. Let me try to fill that in. All right, close enough, I think. Okay, that's that. And finally, the hinge. Let's see, so the hinge is reflective. I don't know if we really need to do anything with that. Just like, I don't know what would be a good pattern for that. Let's go with that, I guess. No, it looks a little weird. I think this is also going to look different when I add the highlight as well. Let's just leave it at that for now. Okay, signboard's all good. I guess I can put myself back for now. Hanging plant. So the hanging plant, at least for the first iteration of shading, I'm just going to shade the entire thing. And I have 3 plant layers that all get shaded separately. Oh wait, I need to remember my border. Make sure that covers beyond the border. All right. So that's the plant handled. The ghost, I think, doesn't really need any shading, but the teapot and teacup do. Mm. oops, wrong layer. Let's see. Just a little bit on here. Anything else? I guess put in a shadow of this. All right. Teacup is good. Ghost. I really don't like how this saucer is looking so far. It just looks very flat. I think I can probably fix that when I put in some highlights. Yeah, the sort of like porcelainy stuff is hard to shade a little bit. Oops, what am I doing? How do we shade the T? I guess just like so. So and the T highlights are going to also be important. I mean, that's true for kind of everything, really. I'm very much looking forward to putting in the highlights. Okay, and then the other thing I need to do is put in, oh, actually, I need to put in both shading on the counter from me and from the teacup. That's going to be a little bit tricksy because of the way I have the layers set up. Like that will need to, you'll need to be able to turn that shading on and off when you place and remove those items. So actually, at this point, do I have everything shaded apart from those shadows? I think I might. So me, the teacup, and the signboard also needs a shadow. So let's actually name those layers. Shadow. Oops. think there's really going to be much of a shadow, because, well, maybe. I guess it's just kind of the shadow of the saucer, since the teacup's shadow doesn't reach that far. And since the saucer is pretty close to the table, it doesn't have all that much of a shadow. That's probably enough for that. And then put a Italian shadow. And actually, while we're here, signboard shadow. Okay, no, let's do me first. There's also not much of a shadow this way just because the light is going in the other direction. It's only a little bit of shadow on this side. Most of the shadow would be on the other side. Mm. Mm. That feels like not enough. Mm. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't like how this is going. It should be softer. it's getting better, maybe. That could maybe do. How's that? I guess. I think that'll do. All right, now let's do the signboard. I mean, I think the signboard shadow will be more or less directly underneath the signboard. And maybe stretch behind it a little bit more. Behind it and to the right a little bit. Maybe in here a little bit. All right. And this area, which is really far from the signboard, gets blended out. Oh wait, why am I doing it like that? Doing with the eraser one. And just very lightly on this edge. Like that? Ooh, I like how that looks. Let me just clean this a little bit. It's a soft edge, but it's still an edge. There we go. I like that. Put on all of the things. Nice. All right, is that all of the shading done? I think it might be. What else was there that I wanted to revisit? I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna go on the hanging plant and shade that a little bit more. Put some shading on the bottom. There we go. Actually, move the plants. All right. I do want to go in here and fix up that edge. Okay, cool, cool. Let's put all the plants back. Okay, there's the plants. All right, I think that might be done for the shading. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to put some more shading on this back wall. Just gonna go with the big airbrush again. Just like shade that corner a little bit. Too much. Let's see how that looks. So like that, or like that. Yeah, I think that helps. All right. Anything else? I think at this point it would be good to just end the stream when I finish the shading, and then start doing the highlights next time, because it seems like a good place to end off. Um, Not entirely happy with the shading on the jars and on the tea. Because, like, on the one hand, the light is coming from kind of above, so it would illuminate the top of the tea. But on the other hand, the jars are in shadow there, so the shadow would be falling on the tea and therefore darkening it. Hmm. I have so many layers. Oh my god, this is getting ridiculous. Oh shoot, was I shading that corner with the wrong color? Oops. Well, it looks all right, so whatever. Trying to expand this a little bit. Um, Maybe put some more shading on the tea itself. If that makes sense. Probably. Oh, it's lagging again. Probably because I have my stabilization set way high. That doesn't look very good. Mm. That's even worse. Oops. Yeah, I think this would look good if it's hard edge on one side and then soft on the other. So it kind of blends in more. Maybe like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. All right, is there anything else? Cat. I think I missed a spot at the end of the tail there. Oops. I think this might be done. Mm, it looks kind of weird how this shadow lines up with the teapot. Maybe I'll adjust that. That's better, probably. All right, that'll do. Okie dokie. Although, hang on. I think I erased a little too much. Um, I want to put in more of this stuff as well. Well, this could maybe go for the second pass. but whatever, I'm doing it now. Is that okay? Maybe like that? I don't know, I think that looks kind of weird. Better? Better. Mm. No, I still don't like it. I don't know, it's just not coming out as like a fabric shape. It looks stiff and not fabric bendy. I mean, I think it might be an issue with my underlying lines. That I just didn't draw these folds very well. I think that'll do for now. How's that? I'm definitely seeing some of my lines get lost, especially in the cat and in my neck. So I'm going to have to go and make the lines darker at some point. It did not fabric MacGuffin. All right. So I think that's probably about it for the shading. Next step is going to be highlights, but I think we can save that for next time, which is pretty exciting. Ugh. All right. Well, thank you for sticking around. That was a bit of a struggle, but I like how it turned out. And it will only hopefully continue to get better when I put in actual highlights and stuff. So, yeah. Watching black magic turn things into art. Yep. You just have to trust the process. Just try some weird shit and eventually stuff happens. Right, so tomorrow is going to be another art stream. We're just going to pick up right where we left off and jump into those highlights. And then on Sunday is our usual speed paint stream. And next week we're going to be starting Slay the Princess because that won our poll on the channel just now. Cool. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Bye.